and some girl like comes over and takes a bite of my hash brown. Right, just the littlest bite, like the littlest bite. Like she didn't go like that. She just went like that, like a little bite. And there's so much left. But I was like furious. I was like, I don't want it anymore. I don't want it. So the door was open to my classroom. I stood up. I threw my hash brown outside the door. And little did I know the principal was walking by.
Welcome back to another installment of The High School Perspective. Thanks to Ryan for the intro and outro music in this video. Today's topic of discussion is childhood memories. So, we got the original boys back in the house. We got Andrew, we got Miggy, we got Paul. Thank you guys so much again for being here today. So childhood memories is the topic of discussion. This is going to be a fun one, I think. I don't have as many questions prepared for this, but I'm prepared to ramble because I feel like this is going to be one of the more fluid conversations that we're going to have. So let's get it going. Let's start off with when we were younger, what was our childhood toy? Everybody has that one toy that they had as a child. All right. So for me, I don't know where he is right now. I had a stuffed bunny that I got from some family friends. I always played with that. I still play with it to this day. It's very close to right here in my heart. It's just the best toy, man. Like it's just like a stuffed animal like I always had, and I feel like every kid had that. Like at some point, it's just nice that I still have him now. He's still in relative good condition. So yeah.
I mean, like you said, like a lot of toys. Like we had a lot of toys. I had a lot of toys. So like my toy had it was like a stick, right? So like.
Yeah. What, man? What the heck?
Stick?
That was a joke. No,
like
but
get a fishing rod.
No, like I had this like toy card that I loved playing with. Like it was like an Arby toy card, and like I would just go around and like act like as if I was like driving or something like that, or in the car. So it's like really fun. So I'd just go around and just like start driving, and I would be like, "Mom, like look at me, I'm driving." I don't know. It was really fun though. And then I had like stuffed animals like around me. So I just sleep with them, and I still sleep with stuffed animals right now.
I had a lot. I can't think of like one singular one off the top of my head, but I think one of the big ones for me was Legos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I gave away a lot of them, but I still have some. In fact, I have a couple that are right here. Oh god. I just have some of the figurines, but they lost some of the body parts. Like they're like on this little platform right here.
Oh wow.
You can see some of them. Like there's
what happened to Woody's arm?
You know how in Toy Story 2 where like his arm comes off?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened. But then he got the GAT, so I don't know. But yeah, there's Buzz, Iron Man, Jack Sparrow, Obi-Wan. Oh god, you can't even see him. Iron Man, Jack Sparrow, Obi-Wan, C-3PO. Yeah, Legos were a big part of my childhood, and like I'd always want to get like Lego sets whenever we went to like Target or something, and I only got them a couple of times. Pokemon cards were big too.
Oh
yeah. Oh my god.
Yep.
But yeah, that was pretty much mine.
Remember like trading cards at school, like.
yeah.
Yeah, in trouble too.
For my toys, oh my goodness, I played with so much toys as a kid. Dude, I have like Nerf guns, Bionicles, Skylanders, Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Oh my God.
I have a little sister too, so I did play with like like My Little Pet Shop and like Shop Kids, bro. Those were my stuff back then. I love collecting. I still have a binder of my Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I will sell them one day for hella money. I know they're gonna be something in the future. Bionicles was crazy. Bionicles to me was better than Legos because of like like the show, and it was like better to collect. Legos was also a big part though. I won't lie, I did buy a lot of Legos. Skylanders, man. Oh my god, they're not really toys, but like the hunting for them, collecting them, watching YouTube videos. Best experience of my life. Skylanders was such a good game, such a good toy. Is everything. Nerf gun too.
Nerf guns. Yeah, I literally have like 3 over there just sitting next to. They're kind of like all around the house, but like I don't have the ammo anymore. You know, like all the darts are kind of lost. I don't know if
Yeah,
that's
you always lose the darts.
So moving on, let's talk about maybe not our first, but the movie that we grew up with when we were children. I'll start. There was a lot of Pixar mixed in with like my whole childhood like movie list, and I feel like that has to be true for most of us here, if not all of us. But the one that I remember and did not understand that it was about like the Depression era as a child is Cars. Cars is like the movie like that, like from my childhood. I remember I would always watch it and always be like, "Oh, Lightning McQueen is such like this great guy." And then like years later, now I'm watching it and it's like, wow, he's like a terrible like not person but car character. He's a terrible character. He was just like really like fed up with himself and like very self-centered. He didn't really care about other people until he went to Radiator Springs, of course, and then he kind of saw how like that whole town kind of changed his whole perspective on like kind of changed his whole view on everything. So I love that movie. It's very near and dear to my heart.
The movie for me growing up, it was like two movies that I distinctly remember always watching every single day as a kid. It was The Lion King and Monsters Inc. My mom would always put that on no matter where I was in the house. Like we could be eating, it'd be on. I'd be sleeping, it'd be on. When I want to watch something, I'd watch that. And like The Lion King, I'm pretty sure like the one that I really watched the most was The Lion King because like as a kid, I didn't really relate to Simba, but I always thought I was Simba. And plus the movie is just so good. It's a classic, and like yeah, and Monsters Inc. too. I have a distinct memory of watching Monsters Inc. one time. It was like I fell asleep watching the movie, and then I woke up and it was playing, and then like I thought my mom and my dad like left me in the house, so I just started crying. My mom started laughing, and I just remember that because Monsters Inc. was playing. So.
To this day, I've still never seen the original Lion King. It's kind of sad. Like the whole
What?
movie. Yeah, I've never seen like the original animated one, which is kind of crazy. I don't think I've seen Nemo all the way through either. Did you say that one or did somebody?
No, but Nemo's a good one though. But yeah,
I should watch both of them. But yeah,
yeah, I was like, you should
never
watch.
saw Lion King all the way through or Nemo. So yeah,
I love the Lion King.
I saw the live action one.
The live action one, yeah, it was all right.
Yeah.
For me, it definitely was a lot of Pixar that I can't name off the top of my head. Some of that y'all said already. But one of the ones that stuck out more for me was Nacho Libre.
Oh yes.
That one was like essential for me growing up. I'm pretty confident I know like 80 to 90% of the lines like said in that. I've seen it so many times, like on drives down to like SoCal, like we'll at least watch it once, like on the way down. Like it's so entertaining. Like it's not even good. Like I had a kind of humor as a child, like all those like the fart jokes and like the ones about wrestling. Like I don't know, they were just funny and like appealing, and like that kind of sticks with you when you watch it again, like as a teen or as you get older, because like I don't know, like you could either look at it as like I was really like laughing at that, like oh my god, I was so immature. Like you could see it for like, oh, I had like a lot of memories watching this movie and like it was able to make me laugh and smile. So I look at it like that. But yeah, Nacho Libre is amazing, and if you've never seen it, go culture yourself.
I will do that.
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't?
I will do that.
You need to watch it.
I mean, dude, I was just Cars, bro. Literally like 20 times a day. The whole time.
Cars.
Wow, that's actually hard. I think like I had a mix of Disney movies and Pixar movies, but that's a hard one, man. I think for me, it would be like The Emperor's like New Groove.
New Groove.
Yeah, like I vibe with that. Like, dude, he was just like really funny. I just found it really funny, and I just wanted to be like, oh, that's hella funny. So I started laughing every time I watched it. And I watched like over like 20 times. I don't know, there's just something about it.
Were there any movies from your guys' childhood that like you probably shouldn't have been watching, but like maybe your parents watched it, or because like for me it was Lord of the Rings. I remember I was like 4 years old. I'd walk down the stairs, and my dad had been watching Lord of the Rings on the TV. I was like, what's that? And like like they have like the big like the orcs and all that in the movie,
Yeah.
like the zombies and like the Lord of the Rings world. And I remember it was like I don't think I was old enough to like know what fear was really. So I was kind of like drawn to the orcs in a way. I was kind of like I liked them, and I continued to watch the rest of the whole like saga. And I really liked it, and I still love those movies to this day, and it's just those movies are kind of timeless. I feel like because you watch them now and it's like, oh, the effects aren't as good, and like maybe like the cosmetics aren't as good, but the way that they tell the story and the way that it's just kind of, spread out like through the whole series, it's just done beautifully. I love all those movies.
For me, when I would go over to my abuela's house, like down in, I want to say San Lorenzo. I think that's where she lived at the time. No, San Leandro. She lived there. She had this little apartment, and like she was really good friends with I don't even know his job title, but he was some manager of some kind there, and like me and him were like really cool. I think I want to say I was like 4 years old, and like I would go like into his little room, and I would watch the original Spider-Man movie. And I know for a fact I was not supposed to see those. And like I remember at one point, like obviously my parents weren't there, so they couldn't stop it. But I remember like watching them, and like I think my parents told me I used to come home and like I'd be scared, or like I'd wake up having nightmares and stuff, and then they had to tell my abuela like, hey, we don't want you showing him any Spider-Man anymore. Like he's getting scared. I don't know how. I think it was the Green Goblin actually.
Oh, that.
Oh yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
The mask. I don't know. Like I thought it was scary, but I mean, looking at it now, I'm like, dang, like I'm a pussy for that. But like, I don't know. Like it was just funny. Like just remembering that, and then like seeing it now, like it's crazy how much better the Spider-Man movies got. Like after Tom Holland came in, like
Yeah.
like it's crazy. Like I think I watched one of the original ones, the ones with
McGuire.
Tobey
Yeah,
Maguire,
Tobey Maguire.
and like I was just like, sheesh, like obviously the CGI got better. There's that, but I don't know, like even like the quality, like overall, like just wasn't great. Like it's hard to describe. I'm not really like one to describe it like into detail really well, but I just remember I grew up on Spider-Man, but like I don't know, I got scared like when I was really really little. I grew back into it. So yeah.
No, I've never. My parents didn't really watch movies that I wasn't really supposed to watch. They always watched the movies that I wanted to watch. But my uncle, there were some movies like kung fu movies. Maybe I shouldn't have been watching them, but I don't know. Like Kung Fu Hustle, that was a funny movie. I love that movie so much. It's a classic. If you guys haven't seen it, you guys need to watch that. It's so funny. Shaolin Soccer, it's pretty inappropriate at times. But I can't really think of anything off the top. I can think of like movies when I was like 10 years old, if that counts. Does that count?
If it's like PG-13 and you're 10, then I guess it.
Okay. Like I remember, my cousin was babysitting me, and he thought it was funny to like lock me in a room and put on The Conjuring. I know with me, like I cannot do scary movies. Even now, I can't do scary movies. Like I'm terrified. Like I actually can't sleep at night. But like yeah, he locked me in a room one time, and then he put on The Conjuring, and literally I just sat in the dark, just watching the movie, and I got so like I had nightmares for like 3 days in a row, and I could not sleep.
Oh my
And
God.
like ever since then, like scary movies. I mean, like even then, even before that, scary movies were not the move, but like that just added on to it. So scary movies are not for me.
Jeez.
I don't know, dude. I think for me it was like Hercules, like the original movie, because like it was so violent. So like I would always stay up just to watch it while my parents were sleeping. So like they didn't know. So like one time my dad came down and like he got mad at me for watching it. But like there were a lot of like sexual scenes and stuff. So he got mad at me. But I didn't like. I found it like really like. I was really curious. I was like, "What? That's like really cool." But I think that was like the movie that I was not like supposed to watch. I mean, it was still pretty cool. I still like it now.
Those are all like movies that we weren't supposed to watch, and then we mentioned like the childhood movies that we grew up with. What were the childhood shows meant for kids that we grew up watching? Like, you got anywhere from like the Doras to like for me it was Backyardigans. That was like every single day Backyardigans.
Dude.
Did you guys have like that one show?
Yeah, for sure. I think mine was like Wonder Pets, right?
Mm.
Like just theme
Wonder
songs. Were,
Pets.
like as soon as he came on, I was like, Wonder Pets. Like, no, it was like no, but dude, there's something about that show that had me like it had me so excited. Like every time they went on a mission, I felt like a superhero to like you go save the bird or like whatever.
Yeah.
Like yeah, it was pretty fun. I like that one.
Work.
Yeah, or like Franklin and
Teamwork.
Friends.
Yes.
What's gonna work?
Teamwork. Yeah, see, Wonder Pets go crazy.
No, I think that was one.
Yeah. For me, it was definitely Blue's Clues.
Ah,
Blue's was my stuff. Blue's Clues was my stuff. I watch that all the time, and Barney too.
Barney
I
creeps
watched a
me
lot of Barney.
Barney creeps me out a lot.
Really? I
Yeah.
watched a lot of it.
Oh my god, it doesn't even look like a real dinosaur.
Wait, was Blue's Clues the show that had like "We Just Got a Letter"?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one. Okay.
My guy.
Yeah, I always remember that. I was like, wait, I can't think. Yeah, Blue's Clues. That was my stuff.
No, dude, but Barney terrified me. Like that. Blue's Clues was fine because like a dude was there and you knew
A
that.
dude was there, and Blue's Clues didn't even look that scary. It was like
I know it was very very appropriate and friendly and all like the singing and stuff and like everything talked. That was the thing that I liked. Like everything was like inanimate. It was great.
The salt and pepper. Oh my gosh,
God.
I remember that. The salt and pepper. I just remember that.
Oh god.
Such a good drawer. The main dude, the actual human, he was such a good drawer.
Steve, my boy Steve.
Yes, Steve. He was really good with the crayon.
What a guy.
What a guy.
Dude, I think for me, the childhood show of mine, I mean, I had a lot, but so I think I mentioned earlier going over to my abuela's apartment, and I don't think she had cable, so I grew up with a lot of PBS Kids. And I don't know how many of y'all were on that, but some of those shows went crazy. Like, I think my favorites was Cyber Kids, Clifford, Arthur, obviously is probably the most popular one. Dang, what else was there? I think Word Girl was funny too. If it's not any of those PBS shows, like I think one of the biggest ones for me was Phineas and Ferb, and like that one, I don't know, like there was just something about it, like it had like one of the catchiest theme songs of all time. There was just like I don't know, like just it had this, and it's funny because it had the same plot, like every episode, like Perry goes missing, goes to Dr. Doofenshmirtz. He's trying to build an innator. Candace is trying to bust Phineas, and then somehow, like at the end, like it all collides. Perry stops Doof, and then Phineas and Ferb don't get busted. And then, like I think a couple of times, like they tried to switch it around, like oh they actually got busted this time, or like Dr. Doofenshmirtz actually does something. I don't know, but like it was just so entertaining. Like I can't really describe it, but like there was just something about it that like stuck to me, and like I just enjoyed it a lot. Definitely.
Well, we'll have plenty of time to talk about like the rest of like the whole shows and like battling them against each other when we do that actual episode, which I hope we can do pretty soon. But let's talk about our first vacations. Do you kind of remember like the first vacation that you remember? For me, it was sometime I went to either San Diego or Hawaii. I go to San Diego still every half year, and then I go to Hawaii. The last time I went was I think a couple summers ago, or just I think it was a couple summers ago, because that's when I lost my phone in a pool. Great times. But then I had, even as like a child, like as a baby, I remember like my parents telling me stories like, oh, Will, you were a very serious baby. Like whenever we took you on a plane, you wouldn't cry. And it was like the weirdest thing ever. And like, even if it was like a 5-hour flight to Hawaii, like you never cry. You had like this like weird look on your face. I was like, well, sorry. I don't know what to tell you really, but those are always the ones I remember. Very, very rainy, very sandy, very lots of rainbows.
Oh man. I went to a lot of places actually, or actually not really a lot, but the ones I can remember, I know I went to Canada one time, but I literally don't remember because I was so like I was still like a kid. I barely remember. But the ones I really remember is when I went to the Philippines for the first time, and I stayed in the Philippines for like 2 or 3 weeks, and dude, it was such a culture change. It's like a culture shock. Like the way they live there is crazy. Like it's always hot, and like it was weird for me too because I'm coming in like as a Filipino from America. So I mean it was cool, but like nothing really too serious. But I remember one time where I was staying at my grandma's house in the Philippines, and my parents allowed me to just leave the house because like literally everyone knew each other, like like where I was staying at, so like it was no problem. But I remember like I just went out one time and there was a dog, and a dog started chasing me, and I was like afraid of dogs. Like I was afraid of dogs. I was also allergic to them, so that added another fear boost. So I remember that dog chased me around. So I ran through like 3 different houses because I knew all the houses. I just ran in there, and like because I was so scared of the dog. And I finally went to my auntie's house, and she like that was her dog, so she was like, "Hey, don't chase him no more." But I like remember that vividly.
I think on every trip I went on, I think like there was something memorable about every trip. Like I really can't like say which one was my favorite because every trip was like actually fun, and I learned a lot from like every trip, and I had fun at every trip. Like most trips that I went to, it was like always like on summer, like during the summer, and it would be like really hot. And I remember like the only thing I would look at for like I would just play like because we went to like the beach a lot, so like I like building like sand castles a lot. So I would just sit there on the beach and like start building sand castles. Yeah, but like every trip was good though.
Yeah. I think one of the most vivid, vivid like places that I used to vacation at, like a good amount of times was me and my family had a timeshare down in South Lake Tahoe, and like we would stay there like a lot. And I want to say it's called like Tahoe Beach and Ski, South Lake Tahoe Beach and Ski, and like I don't know, the hotel itself wasn't like anything like crazy. It was nice, but I just remember like always going there for like winter breaks and like just finding a like good sized hill, sledding down. Like I think when I was really little, I would go with my dad, so I would go faster down the hill, like just being in like his lap or something, and like I'm thinking of another time, but yeah, there was also like I want to say it was Round Table, and it wasn't Wingstop. It was some like like those joint restaurants, like the ones that kind of like they have the same food, or like it's one restaurant and another like combined into one, and they both
Yeah.
serve both of the food in this one building.
Oh,
It was one of those like right next to it, and I remember going there just to get like a bunch of pizza, and like we pretty much had it like every day, and I kind of got sick of it for that week, and I remember not eating it at all the next because I don't know. I haven't been there in like a good maybe like 5 6 years, and like I don't know if I were to go there, like I feel like I know the whole place by heart. Like in fact, I remember this one time where like there's a little picnic table, right, and it's South Lake Tahoe. It snows a lot down there. Everything was covered in snow, and I think me, my sister, and my dad. It was mostly my dad though, because like he can do all like the heavy duty work. But we like carved out a little like a slide almost. Like it starts at the top of the picnic table, and then like from there like it just goes down, and like we carved the snow so that like it could take the weight of like a sled, and like it would go on for a little bit. And I remember working on that for like so many hours, and like I think it was like right before we were about to leave for home. And then I think we finished it and we used it for maybe like half an hour, and then like we went home. And I just remember thinking like I was sad because I was like, there's probably some other kids enjoying that slide we made just now, and they didn't have to look at all for it.
Let's talk about memories of elementary school.
Oh
I
no.
think that there are a lot of these. Feel free to go as far or as deep or as not as deep as you want. I guess here, I'll start. If I remember anything from elementary school, it is that I was a weird ass kid, dude. Like, I was like so mean to people sometimes. Like, there was one time, like, I had gotten mad at somebody and then I'd like punched them in the stomach.
Oh man.
Time I kicked a kid. I kicked a couple kids. But yeah, I was just a rude kid. I'm so glad that my third grade teacher was able to straighten me out a little bit because she was the one that like gave me like this behavior contract along with like a couple other kids that I got involved with, and thankfully I'm not their friends anymore, or like as close to them anymore. So I was able to find a group of nicer dudes to hang out with. But besides that, I guess let me think about this. I remember I remember in second grade I had this group of people, and we all had gone to the same summer camp. And at this summer camp, there would be times where we'd like get to sing and like dance along to some of the songs. And what I remember is in second grade, like for I guess like show and tell in a way, but it was kind of like like class skits. I guess you would be able to go up and it'd be like a kind of like a mini talent show. And me and I think four other guys would go up, and we always sing the camp songs. So it was nice to reminisce as a young as like a 8-year-old and do some stupid dances because at that point it was like like you never got like I guess for us we never got stage fright because it was like we were so comfortable up there like in front of our class. So I just remember loving it, and we do it almost every single day. When we get the chance to, like after the second recess, I think, or maybe like just before lunch, it was a good way to get our energy out. And thank you to my second grade teacher who was kind enough to let us do that.
For elementary, I was a really smart kid. Like I'm not gonna lie, I was a really smart kid. But I was also a bully. I'm not gonna lie, I was a bully. Um, I mean, well, of course, I regret the things that I did, but like I didn't know any better. But a memory that came to me, it wasn't really me bullying someone. It was just like I had anger issues like in elementary school. I got angry really easily, and plus I was fat too, so it didn't really help. So I remember this one time I was eating a hash brown from McDonald's. You guys know what I'm talking about, the hash browns?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, so I was eating one of those, and like I had it out of my hand, and I was doing something. Like it was just out of my hand, and some girl like comes over and takes a bite of my hash brown. Right, just the littlest bite, like the littlest bite. Like she didn't go like that. She just went like that, like a little bite, and there's so much left. But I was like furious. I was like, I don't want it anymore. I don't want it. So the door was open to my classroom. I stood up. I threw my hash brown outside the door, and little did I know the principal was walking by. So it hit the principal, and I got sent to the office for my anger in class, and then I also threw a hash brown at the principal. So like, it was bad.
Oh
I had really anger issues when I was a kid. Like I get mad for like the stupidest reasons. Like I think I got mad at a girl because she drank my chocolate milk one time.
I would get mad at that.
Yeah, it was.
Chocolate milk. Why would you do that? That would be terrible.
I don't know.
Oh my
But,
god.
yeah, no. I got into a lot of like shouting fights. Not really like fist fights because I wasn't really a fighter. Like I was just more of like a fuel my anger. Like it's just you can see that I'm angry. But I'm low-key still like that, but not as much as anymore. I
Yeah.
hope I'm not like that anymore. Yeah, I remember that memory. And I think she does too, the girl that bit my hash brown. Just, spoiler alert, I dated her like a few years later. And then, yeah, she'll always tell that story to me every time she sees me. Like, be like, oh, you remember when I bit your hash brown? I'm like, okay, thank you.
I have like almost no good memories out of elementary school. Like, I mean, I think the best one that I probably had was, for some reason, I don't know why, I was really good at spelling words, and I think I still am pretty good at spelling words. And I
Spell
think,
podcast right now.
huh?
Spell podcast right now.
I'm not going to. But anyways, I think so. I don't know if a lot of you guys know this, but I went to two different elementary schools.
I did not.
One was Fame Public Charter School. That's where I met Javion. You remember him?
Yeah.
So that's where I met him, and like me and him were homies, and like that him, and then this other dude named like Ibrahim or something. Like we were like three like young second graders that would like try to play like the upper or like the older kids like in basketball, and they'd always beat us and kick us off the court. And I remember that was one of the better I had. And for some reason, I don't know why my parents thought this was a good idea, but like I come from a Christian family, and like Fame Public Charter School is a very much like Muslim majority school.
Oh,
And
wow.
like I don't know exactly like, obviously not everyone there is Muslim, and like I'm pretty confident they had two different Arabic classes, and like one was for people who were fluent and the other was for people who didn't know it at all. And I was obviously in the people who didn't know it. And I just remember everyone would look at me and like, what is he doing here? I remember getting bullied just for not being Muslim. But it's actually funny. Like I remember like on a couple instances, I actually like my sister actually stood up like to the bullies that would like push me around. And like it's actually funny because like obviously like she's noticeably smaller than me, but like I don't know, she just had more heart and like just wanted to stand up to whoever was like messing with me, and like she actually got in trouble for it too. So shout out Alyssa, she's probably playing Minecraft right now.
Oh,
Um, yeah, I remember that just being bullied for like no random reason, and then shut up. Um, and then when I got to Vanoy Elementary, there was, dude, I feel like everyone there hated me. I think it was because I was new. Like I went there in third grade, and then like I think all the friend groups had been established already, and like when I came there, I was just like new. But I feel like there was a couple people who like welcomed me. Like I think the first friend I made there was this guy named Xavier, and then I think after that was this dude named Michael Oyeku. You guys might know, but yeah, I think I don't know why, but like I really wanted to be fast. I think it was because I watched Sonic so much, and like it kind of inspired me to be fast. And like I don't know, like I felt when I was young, I felt like a young Sonic. And going into it, I'm like, dude, I'm the fastest kid like ever. And like there was a lot of people there who were fast too. I think I was fast enough to be on like the track team though. Besides that, I don't know. I just remember a lot of people not liking me, and just like I don't know, like some stuff changed once I got to middle school because that's when I cut all my hair off. And like in fifth grade, like I had it down to like it's actually longer now. Like I'm not gonna show it now because I have had hair, but it's longer on the top now than it was in fifth grade. But the only difference is I cut the side, and I don't know. I looked super emo. I think I wore a lot of black, but like I wasn't emo. But um, yeah, I don't know. I didn't have a bright elementary school childhood, but I don't know. It is what it is. That's how mine was.
Mine was actually like I remember in like fourth or fifth grade or third grade, I had this teacher, like her name was Miss Ty. So she had like a cookie jar. So like every Friday we would like get cookies. So like if you were good the entire week and you did like your homework, she would give you cookies. So like I like sometimes would not do my homework. So like I would get mad when I don't have like I didn't get a cookie. Like so this is one day when I did like homework, right? Like the entire week. And she brought like just like this big pack of cookie and she gave me the entire thing. I was so happy. That was like the best day ever. And also like we had this thing where like at lunch we like every time like recess and lunch we play like kickball. So like everyone was like down for kickball. So we just run down to the field during recess and lunch. Like whoever's first, like we'll pick teams and that. And like that was like the best thing that would happen. Like I would always want to like kick the ball really far, and we had like this challenges. So like this is time like where we had like teachers versus students, and I was like named like captain of the team, right? So like I was so excited. But I think kickball was like the best one. Like everyone loved kickball. I loved it too.
Do you remember kickback?
Uh,
That was the game where you kick all the balls like back and forth. It was like a turf war sort of thing.
oh,
No, I
I don't
didn't.
think I remember.
Dude,
y'all remember playing wall ball?
Yeah, I played that, but
Oh,
I didn't play it in elementary school.
I sure played that in elementary school. I was so scared when like someone called like red butt. Like I was traumatized because like there's some dude. I think he played baseball. That's why I had such a strong one. But like he would always go for me. That was part of like my not so bright elementary school childhood. But he would always want to go for me just because of how scared I would get when like I'd have to go up against a wall and like
Hmm.
throw it at me. But yeah, that was pretty fun. I play it like I don't remember the last time I played it, but it was somewhat recently. Yeah,
I really like. This is my first. We didn't even play weird games. We just played the traditional games like freeze tag, zombie tag, contagion or something, and then kickball. Like we didn't play like those type of games where it's like super creative. Like not
yeah,
until middle school, elementary. It was
yeah.
pretty
we had
bad.
like potato sack thing, like races and stuff. I think that was fun. We had like water
Pretty
balloons
bad
for
leg.
school.
This is a completely different topic, um, but I think it was something that was sort of brought up earlier in the video. What are, I guess, maybe they still are, what were our biggest fears when we were children?
The ocean,
Really?
water.
Seriously?
I to this day I can't swim, and I've always been afraid of water, like swimming, because I've had like two instances where I almost drowned and like almost died. Um, but yeah, that was my biggest fear. Like it still is one of my biggest fears actually is the ocean. It's like more of the fact that like when I'm swimming in the ocean, like with a floaty of course, um, like I can't see what's underneath me. It's so deep. Like just the thought of it, just like me, like that's not even the surface of like the ocean. Like there's so much more to it. Like it's more of the also drowning in the unknown of the oceans. That's basically it. Like
Yeah,
that was the
I
biggest
agree
fear.
with the drowning part because like I had an instance as a child where I was like in the ocean swimming with my dad, and I went under for a while, and I was like I think I was too young to know that like you can, well, I mean, I knew that you couldn't like breathe in the water, but like I didn't know that like people couldn't hear you when you like try to scream in the water. So that's what I did. I screamed for help, and obviously no one heard me. But thank God, it was pretty cloudy water too. Like I was like we were both snorkeling, but it's kind of like to this day it sort of surprises me like that my dad was able like to fish me out. Um, but I remember I was crying, I was all sad. But besides that, I've always been pretty comfortable in the water. Um, it's never been like a fear of mine. I guess for me, that the thing that's always stuck with me that like I fear the most um, are like I guess rides, like the whole like roller coasters. I've always had a problem with them. Um, even today, like I still, oh my god, this is gonna sound weird. The drop tower in Disneyland or in California Adventures, the big garden.
Oh yeah. Call it California. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Um, I've done that like a couple times, right? It's like the best ride ever. I only do it once a year because otherwise the feeling of like the thrill goes away. Um, so I like doing that, but I've never done California Screamin' or the Incredicoaster now. I've never done it. It's too scary for me because that's the big ass loop. It's too much. I can't do it. And then like any other roller coasters, I'm terrible at. Um, I'm afraid of roller coasters. What else? Recently, I developed a phobia. I'm not a phobia, but a fear of moths because there was an instance with a moth where one time I was in the bathroom and I saw the towel, it was moving, and I've told this story many times. I'm sure if people watch this, they know exactly what I'm talking about. But basically, I kicked the towel as it was moving. A big ass moth flies out. It scared me, right? Because I was trying to pee. Um, I was like, thankfully everything was able to stay in the bowl. But oh my god, I was so scared. I was like shaking, dude, and I'm terrified of moths to this day.
If we're talking about animals, I just realized one of my fears. Birds. Dude, I'm so terrified of birds. Like more specifically owls. Owls, and then like when I was a kid, I was really scared of birds. Like when they're like walking on, like how you're walking on the sidewalk and there's like birds just chilling, right? I would literally go out of my way to avoid those birds, or I'd ask my sister to walk in front of me so she can scare it, so I can walk. Like I was so terrified of birds. I don't know what it was. Actually, no, I do know what it was. Like, like I was eating a big bag of hot Cheeto puffs, like the family size one, and I was a little kid, right? So it was big, like pretty big. And like I was walking, we were in San Francisco, and I remember I was just left by myself eating my hot Cheeto puffs, and then like a group of seagulls just started attacking me, and like they were trying to take my bag of chips, so I let them have it. I threw it and I started running away, and then like ever since then I've always been afraid of birds. Like it was to the point where in my science books, like how it has pictures of animals, like I would always skip that page when it has a bird on it. Like it was pretty bad.
Oh my god.
I was very
Yeah,
terrified
I mean,
of
like I would
birds.
look at like a magazine sometimes, and there'd be like the head of like a bug there, and like even now, I was cleaning up my room the other day. I saw one of the like it was like Ranger Rick or I don't know some like National Geographic kind of magazine, but it had like animals in it, and this big ass like hornet head is there on the next page. I threw it. I was so scared, and I
Yeah,
ran
no,
out of my room. And my sister was helping me clean, and she was like, "Will, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Can you just turn to the next page so I can come back into my room?" And she's like, "What? Are you serious?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm."
it's pretty
Yeah,
bad. That's how it is too.
it really is. It's weird because I literally threw the magazine. I've never thought like, oh my god. But yeah, I think I've been doing that like for a while now, but just recently too. Just still scares me.
For me, it's kind of lame because I don't have a distinct fear of an animal. So I feel like there's one out there, but I can't think of one at the top of my head. When you said biggest fear, the first thing that came to my head was horror games, like specifically the ones with like jump scares. Primarily Five Nights at Freddy's, and I just remember all my favorite YouTubers would play that game. I remember being so scared to watch it, and oh my god. Okay, yeah, you guys have heard of it, obviously. And there was this one guy. Thank God he was there. I think he said like, "Oh, for all the kids who like don't want to get jump scared," he put like timestamps on like each of the jump scares. So like I would
Yeah.
know when one was coming, and I was like, "Okay, okay, okay. Oh, it's coming up," and like skip 10 seconds ahead.
Get tennis.
And I remember like having to do that, and like when there wasn't one, like I wouldn't watch the video, and it was just so like I don't know. That brings back memories. Like I remember Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, Dashy, Corey X Kenshin.
Oh, Corey, I love Corey.
But yeah, that was really fun. YouTube is, dude. Will, remember when you were YouTube for Halloween?
Yeah, it's in my garage.
That was horrible.
That's a memory. I took this for Miggy and Paula who don't know. And for everybody else, I took this really big piece of cardboard, right, like bigger than poster size, and it was flat, so it didn't like fold or anything. So it was good like as like a stationary like large piece of cardboard. I took that and I put like a big. Oh my god, what was it? I don't know how I got it to be the shade of red, but somehow it was the shade of red. And I cut out like a triangle of white and I, glued it onto the front and boom, I was YouTube for Halloween. And I'd walk around and I'd run into everything. Like I almost knocked over someone's jack-o'-lantern and I thought I was going to like set the house on fire. Oh my God. But yeah, I remember that costume. It's still, and then the other year I was Instagram and I have been Instagram, I think for the past couple of years and that's much smaller. It's like, the size of like my chest. It's not that big.
Wait, I have a question. What was your guys' best Halloween costume? Will just said his. I think, okay, I'll give these guys time to think if you can, but mine, my mom, I know a lot of you guys don't know this, but my mom is really good at face painting. And like she actually does it like, as a side job sometimes. And I think one year, I want to say like maybe 6, 7 years ago, I know for a fact I was young, but it was in middle school. Um, I think we went thrifting for the clothes, and my mom painted my face, and I was the Joker for Halloween. And it actually came out looking really good. Like, I mean, obviously, it's not gonna look like the the real thing. But I remember we got a green wig, a purple shirt, like painted it, like it was crazy. Like I want to see if I could pull up a picture of it because now I'm curious. But I just remember, like just the whole process of it was like very, very long. Oh, I found it. Okay, hold on. So this is it right here.
That's
And
you?
yeah, it was crazy.
What? That's really good, actually.
It was really good. And I just took so long. That's like the one thing I remember about it. But then like it paid off when I got to whatever function I was showing up at.
I just want to say one thing. That I don't think that was my best costume. I've had a lot of like of the creative app costumes throughout the years. Uh, Literally last year, I went to a Halloween party. I brought a small I did the circles, right, like small like cardboard circles because the other ones were just gigantic. Instagram wasn't that bad because like I said it was chest width, but these ones like small circles like probably like this. These ones I had TikTok, I had Snapchat, and I had one more. I don't remember the other one. It was I really can't remember. I'm pretty sure it might have been Twitter. I'm pretty sure it was Twitter. But yeah, I had three. I brought them all, and it was a great time. But what I wanted to say was when I was a lot younger, like much younger than this, I remember for Halloween, like it was coming up, and I wanted to be a bat, not like Batman, and not like someone like in the Batman like or DC universe, just a bat. And I remember like my mom telling me like Will, why, like there are so many other options and you want to be a bat, because it was so hard for her, and probably my dad too, I'm sure he looked, it was so hard for both of them to find me a costume that was just a bat, because nobody wanted to be a bat except for me. So it was like the weirdest process that any parent could possibly go through. But that was my best costume because it was just me as a bat, and it was like the best costume ever.
I'd say mine was probably a ninja. A ninja. I had like the fake abs and everything. I had the sword. Those are pretty my best costume. But I was also dressed as like um, a Power Ranger one time, a Stormtrooper one time. Okay, I was dressed up as a chef one time because like I don't I don't know why I was dressed up as a chef. I had no other option. I was like, you know what? Let me be a chef. So I just put on an apron, put on a headband, and grabbed like a fake butcher knife, and I was a chef. And that was basically it. But yeah, my best one was the ninja.
I think mine was like Ninja Turtles, dude.
Yeah,
I used to love Ninja Turtles. So I was just a Donatello actually. I don't know. I was out. I was just like I had my stuff. It was cool, and I had hella candy that night too. But
Hey, Will, do you have that one? You have the yearbooks from Creekside, right?
I do.
Do you remember that one costume I had where it looked like I was being carried by someone?
Yeah,
That was a good costume too.
that's fantastic.
And people would remember that, like people from school saw it.
Yeah. Honestly, there are so many other questions that I could think of, but we might have to do a part 2 in the future. Um, so let's talk about our first time, or like biggest time from our childhood, getting in trouble. All right, I'll go first. I remember this is well, I have a couple of. I'll tell this one. I remember for whatever reason, me and my sister were down in the on like the last floor of the house, where kind of like the washing machine and stuff, all of that is. And we were eventually I got her over to the bathroom, and we just kept filling up these buckets of water, and I don't remember exactly why, but at one point one of the buckets had spilled, and she was standing on a stool, and she had fell over, and boom, she just like fell, and like she was there like in the water. And then I remember like I accidentally like knocked over another bucket of water, and that one spilled, and there was just like this big flood. Basically, we had flooded the bathroom, and it was like in the bath, and it was like on the floor. It was like all of like the counter and like the sink and all that, and it was like this little like water park. So I was, being a stupid kid that I am, I was just kind of like running around, like pushing the stool, like playing with like the bath toys. I'm pretty sure that were in the bathroom. Oh my god, it was a mess. Literally, we just made a mess of the bathroom, and it was like it was very fun. Um, So eventually, someone broke the news to my mom. I don't know if it was started by my sister crying or something else, but I remember, she came down and was very, I imagine she was very mad. I don't exactly remember how mad she got, but yeah, that was terrible.
In elementary school, I had this really weird friend. His name was Luke. Me and Luke were talking about the curse words, and then he says, "Do you know the C word?" And at that time, I didn't know what the C word was. So I was like, "No, what's the C?" Or no, I didn't even say that. I said, "Oh, I think we're thinking about the same one, but just say it just in case." And I didn't know what it was because I don't know. I just want to sound cool, so
Yeah.
said it, and I'm like, "Huh, that's an interesting word. It sounds like can't, but like, you know." So he was like, "But whatever you do, don't say it to anyone. It's a really bad word, and it's worse than all the other words." And I'm just there like, okay, I got it. I'm not gonna say it. And, like at that point, I feel like he knew that I didn't know what it was. But anyways, literally the same day, like some kid named Jason, we actually got cool like afterwards. I don't know how, but we got into an argument about something. I don't remember exactly what it is. And like it doesn't get super heated, but the word just stuck in my head because it had just been like it was new to me. And I was curious to see what would happen. Like so me being me, he disagreed with me on something and I called him the C word. And he was like, "I'm telling you did not just say that." And I'm like, "No, no, 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 don't say anything, don't say anything." And Miss Calderon comes up to me before class starts and she's like, "Hey, what you did today was not okay. And like, I'm gonna need you to see the principal for what you did." And I'm like, "Oh my God, there's no way." And actually, now that I think about it, this was in 5th grade because I remember I was scared to see the principal because I was in something called Courageous Cougars. And I think that was like the elementary version of leadership, right?
God.
So I was in that and I was like, "Oh my God, he's gonna kick me out. Like, there's no way. Like, I'm dead." And I, I think she gave me a slip to like to go see Mr. Ko. I think that was his name, and like to tell him what I did, fess up. And I was just scared. Like it had been scheduled for like that day, and I was just so scared. Like I could not. Like in my head, I'm like, "There's no way I'm doing this. I can't," because I'm scared. I don't want to get kicked out of Courageous Cougars, and my parents would find out. So that all that pressure just led me to run away. And the next day, guess what happens?
What happened?
Nothing happens.
Oh, really? You didn't get caught?
I didn't get caught. No one knew because it's not like when I thought about it, I'm like, when I think about it now, like she just signs a piece of paper, but I guess she didn't call in like Mr. Ko, which I feel like she would have done. Like, "Hey, I have a student like coming to see you now." I don't know what happened. Maybe Mr. Ko forgot about it, or like he was cool with me. Because I remember my principal was really cool. Like I don't know how, but he was cool with my dad, and maybe he let me slide. I still don't know the whole story to this day. But I just remember being so anxious to like see him and tell him that like I said the C word to a kid, and ever since that day, I've never said it, and that's the one word that I refrain myself from using. And I don't know, that memory just like haunts me. But it also like taught me a not good lesson to like sometimes running away from your problems actually works. And um I don't know, that was I don't know, that was funny. And I felt like I should have got caught for it, but I didn't.
The time that I got in trouble, I remember one time there was like this vehicle type thing at my elementary school, and none of the kids were allowed to like operate it, even though it was like the most easiest thing in the world. It was like it looked like a disabled person's like vehicle. I'm not having like it looked like a disabled person's vehicle, and then on the right handlebar there was like a Joy-Con where you can control it, and then on the back it's like a storage place where you can put stuff so you can move it easily. It was basically like a truck, but like no doors and no thing. It was just like a seat. It was like a seat like this, a Joy-Con, and then there's something that can carry on the back. So I remember one time all the kids are surrounding it because the guy that operates it was showing us, and he was like showing the kids the back, and he told the kids like not to hop on it and like move the Joy-Con because if you move it forward, it would like push like something upward and it would break. And I was the kid that did it. So I sat on the chair. I was like, this is not that bad. And I move it forward, and all I hear was like a loud bang noise behind me. And I just see like the storage unit go up. Not really the storage unit, but like something that was carrying it go up, and it breaks. Like it won't work anymore. So the guy that was operating, he was cool. He didn't get mad at me, but like my uncle was really close to them. He got so fucking pissed at me. He yelled at me. He told me to go in the car. I started crying. And then I was like, bro, if my parents find out, I'm going to be grounded. And my parents found out, and oh my God, I was crying. It was pretty bad. But I didn't really get in trouble like that because I'm kind of sneaky when it comes to getting in trouble. But that was like the one time I got caught because I was like curious.
I remember like for me, back in I think it was 4th or 5th grade, but we had this teacher. His name was I think Mr. Webb, and then he had like a snake in his classroom. So I think it was after school. So me and my friends, we go to his classroom. Like we're messing around with the snake, we're just like feeding the snake and stuff. And someone thought it was a good idea to like let the snake out of like his cage. So and Mr. Webb, he was like I think he was making copies or something, or he went to the bathroom. I don't remember. So we take the cage out, go in the hallway with like the cage, and we kind of like we open the cage and let the snake out. And we let it go. So we put the cage back. I don't think he noticed that the snake was gone like the next day. And we're the only people that were there like the day before. So like at lunch he asked us to like come see him. Like he asked about like where the snake was. And like we're like we don't know where it is. So apparently the snake it was like somewhere, like someone found it. Like they got hella scared. But like yeah, I got in trouble for that. So, and my mom got pretty mad. My parents, I don't know.
All right, gentlemen, that is going to do it for this installment. Thank you guys very much for joining me. Hopefully, we were able to learn a little bit more about each other. And, gosh, dude, that snake thing that's crazy, Paul. Yeah, anything else that you guys wanted to add?
Thank you for having us.
Plug.
Oh, yeah. It's always a pleasure to be on here. And, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the video because Will does edit these videos, and he does spend a lot of time on it. So it'd be very much appreciated if you guys should give that one like.
Bye.